All right, we are live. Hello, 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 fight fans. It is me, Alec Carr, and I got Dustin here with me. Monique is, I was actually cheering on her her partner or something at Brazilian Jiu Jitsu event or
He was
something.
he was at the IBJJF Worlds.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I was away at work. I was half reading everything because I was so busy. But yes, he was, and apparently did very very well. So her voice is gone, but she might join us later. She might not. Um, but right now you got me and Dustin, and as always, I will quickly do the plugs as quickly as I can. You guys can always follow me right here, Alec TD Car on Twitter. It's got my personal views on everything from freaking Star Wars to sports to how much the Eagles suck and why fans are ridiculous. Um, Talking about Ben Simmons, talking about the fights, talking about the hockey. I got everything on there. Yeah, and if you don't like any of my opinions, as I say every week, please let me know. I would love to argue with you about it. You can also follow Dustin at No Censor Sports. Um, and you can follow both of us and Monique and all fight fans at Fights Unwrapped on Twitter. It's what brings all of us together. In my biased, very biased opinion, in my unbiased, very biased opinion, it is the best fight show out there. And then, as always, guys, please, please, please like and subscribe to Unwrapped Sports Network YouTube channel. It's not just us. You got football, you got basketball, you got hockey, you got all kinds of sports, all kinds of different stuff. You got lots and lots and lots of really good betting advice coming out of there. Unwrap Sports Network YouTube channel. Um, like and subscribe and hit that bell so you can get notifications for every show. And follow them on Twitter at Unwrap Sports Network. Again, it's just the best. It's crazy sports content. It's all people from all around the country, all around the world. We got Australia, we got Canada, we got all kinds of shit out there. It's just a lot of fun. And now to pay our bills. First up, our very own Carlos Condit, UFC's own, well, former UFC Carlos Condit, recently retired, is a strong user of RxHemp. Please check out rxhemp.com and use rxhemp-usn to get 10% off your entire order. Guys, I use it. It's fantastic. I'm old now and I try to work out like I'm young. And if I didn't have RxHemp, I'd be lost and in just constant pain. So please, that is rxhemp-usn to get 10% off your entire order. And also, as well, please visit mybookie.ag today. Not a great card this weekend, unfortunately, but usually on those cards, you can get large payouts. So please, please, please check out mybookie.ag today and use promo code USN100 for a 100% sign up bonus. I'm going to repeat that because it is a big deal. 100% sign up bonus. Um, I know Dustin might be placing bets. I know damn well Monique's going to be placing bets as she always does. All right, guys, we are going to move right into some of our headlines, but we're going to start off with a recap of just an absolute incredible fight. We got Holloway versus Rodriguez last weekend. One for the ages. One that's like I'm not even. I was just there. I wasn't even. There are very few fights where this happens to me, Dustin. Where when I'm watching a fight, I'm not even worrying about the score. I'm just there watching the fight. Like I'm not trying to score it. It's just going and going and going. And these guys were just going at each other. Holloway was landing a little bit more combos. I don't disagree with the decision at all. But that first round was real terrifying for Holloway. um, Dustin, what are your thoughts? I'll talk a little bit more about it afterwards, but I'm still amazed. We got 2 weekends in a row of probable fight of the year candidates. So, what do you think about this fight?
Holloway did Holloway shit. I mean, that's what he does. That's what we all expected. I mean, he landed like good. I think what was it around like almost 100 more significant strikes. I mean, he's always good. He's always doing that. Yeah, Rodriguez. Honestly, dude, I was impressed for a 2-year layoff. It didn't look like it. It looked like the dude's been fighting the whole time, and that boy kicks like a horse. Like I've never heard smacks like that constantly from kicks. Like every kick he threw, you heard it. Every time it bounced off a calf, it bounced off the body, the face. It didn't matter. You always heard it through the TV. Like that dude can kick. I was actually really surprised. But freaking Max Holloway. The reason I kind of peeled back the fight of the year is because I think Max Holloway dominated. I had it 49-46. I think he won every round except the first. That was it. When he had to get a little bit warm. That was it. I think he dominated the fight. Now, Yair did bust him up. I mean, he gave him some cuts, gave him some black eyes. But overall, Max Holloway, he kind of almost clean sweeps. So, I don't know about the fight of the year, but I am impressed by Max Holloway. I'm actually pretty interested to see what he does next because that Condor shit ain't going to happen. I'll tell you that. But Max Holloway, we'll see. I'm more interested in what fight he's going to take next. He's going to go up and fight Volk again. We'll see.
Well, yeah, I agree. He did win every round after the first. The only reason I say fight of the year candidate, listen, nothing's gonna beat that Sandhagen Jan fight. I think that's a guaranteed fight of the year. That was absolutely insane. That's gonna go into the Hall of Fame as one of the greatest fights of all time. The only reason I bring it up is because yes, Holloway won. Probably, maybe you might be able to give the second round to Rodriguez, but maybe if you're being generous and you're looking at more damage than actual output, that makes sense because Holloway started really doing more damage at the end of that round and from the third round on.
That double leg was beautiful, by the way.
Yes, it was. I was just going to say how impressed I was by Holloway's severe upgrade in his takedown game. I mean, that looked really. I'm not saying Holloway hasn't been able to do it in the past, but that looked like he knew what he was doing, whereas before it was more like he got a lucky takedown.
He doesn't have very good top game. I will say that.
Correct.
Pretty easily. To be honest.
Correct, but you can tell. I know he's talking all this shit like he doesn't have to fight Volkanovski, that he beat him last fight, and like all this other stuff. And I agree with him. He's got to fight him, and I think he will. The reason I think he will is because he clearly is training to get better at the things that he needs to do to whoop Volkanovski's ass. Like, he can stand up and outstrike Volkanovski. We all know that. He can outstrike at a distance and keep Volkanovski away. We saw it in the last fight. He did it. He really did. What he can't do is defend Volkanovski's clinch game and his takedowns.
He can't hang.
No, he just can't. It's just, Volkanovski's takedown, he's probably more of a well-rounded fighter than Max, but Max's striking is just so damn good. And we saw it on this. This was an absolutely incredible output. And to your point, significant strikes landed. Max Holloway, 230 to 159 of Yair Rodriguez. Absolutely insane. Not quite Calvin Kattar numbers, but when Max Holloway had the goal to beat the Kattar, which nobody thought was going to happen, he landed. Didn't he land something like the most significant strikes ever in that fight? Like,
you're right. You're right. It was ever. Someone else landed the most strikes in their division. Holloway landed the most ever. Yeah.
Correct. It was that was absolutely insane. No one thought Yair Rodriguez is better than Calvin Kattar. He just is. He always has been. Steroids or no steroids, he's better than him. Yair Rodriguez, he did show out. Those kicks were fucking incredible. I think Max Holloway broke a rib. I don't know if you saw that ball that was forming on his freaking rib cage, but I'm almost sure that Max Holloway broke a rib in that fight from those leg kicks, which makes what he did even more impressive to me. Being able to
He had a hard time waking up. I'll tell you that right
Yeah,
now.
to
There's
be
no way
able to.
like that.
Max Holloway is never going to be one to brag that he fought through an injury. It's just not who he is. But so we'll probably never find out for sure if he broke a rib or not. But I mean, if he did what he did after breaking a rib and pushed through all the way to the fifth round and looked like he still could have kept going, that's just insane to me. Max Holloway, God damn it, I love you so much. You're so damn good.
I think
I,
he at least fractured ribs. I think he probably had a fractured one, to be honest.
Yeah, he had to have when that happens to his rib cage. Guys, go back and look at it. There's some pictures coming out about it now, but go back and look at the photos, the fight again. I've watched it twice, as I always do. But I watched it and then turned it back on immediately because it was so good. But he had a ball, a mouse, probably more like a softball actually, size swelling on his rib.
The reason
It's
the reason I don't think he broke it was because when you break a rib, I think his arm would have came down a little bit. Because when you break a rib, if you try to outstretch, you're literally gonna
that's
wince.
true.
So I think his arm would have came down to his body a little bit when his stance. So I don't think he broke it. Do I think he was in a lot of pain? Yeah, but breaking, I think his guard would have lowered if he broke it a little
Right.
bit.
Anyway, he showed that Hawaiian heart. He showed that he is still Max Holloway. It was awesome. I can't wait to see him fight. But don't worry, we're not done talking about Max Holloway yet. We're just moving on to a different topic about him. Max Holloway, after the fight, made several comments. Volkanovski has come out and said, "Stop playing your games, man. If you want to fight me, fight me. If you don't, I'll move on to the next." Max Holloway mentioned a name, Dustin, that we haven't talked about in a long time. A long time. It feels like forever since we've talked about this man. Um, where is it? There it is. Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor. We have actually gone a couple weeks in a row without talking about him, but he makes headlines again. Max Holloway says what he says. Conor McGregor posts a video of him pacing back and forth, doing Conor shit as Conor does,
That was cringy.
staring at the screen. It was very cringy, very weird. He's also like, for him to even say that he would or indicate that he might go down to featherweight, he is way too big now. It would take him a long time. He looks like he's ready to fight at 170. It
You
would
see,
take him a long, long time to get down to featherweight. I for one would love to see the Holloway McGregor rematch. I've always wanted to see it. Um, just because this is a newer, better version of Holloway, and those two stylistically always make for banger fights. And also, I am one of the firm believers that Conor McGregor should never, ever, 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 ever should have stepped up and weight. He should have stayed at featherweight. He should have stayed there. He should have stayed there and dominated the division. If he wanted to step up a little bit later, get the belt, and come back down, that would have been great too. But I mean, he definitely should have stayed. It's where he belongs. It's where he's his best version of himself. Um, I would love to see it. I don't think it's going to happen. I think Dana's going to push the trilogy of Holloway versus Rodriguez. I think he should push that trilogy. It's going to be a lot of shit talking, a lot of nonsense. It's a marketable fight in a division that desperately needs a marketable fight. What do you think, Dustin, about the Conor stuff? Do you think it's actually going to happen? Do you think that Conor could step down that low again at this stage in his career? Or would you rather see the Holloway Volkanovski rematch?
Conor, in order to make 145, is going to have to get out of the weight room. I'll tell you that right now. Like, he can't lift the weight his whole camp. Like, he can't. He's going to have to eat veggies and literally, like, dude, you can't even eat meat. Like, I don't even see him being able to eat a steak or to eat any type of meat. He can't. Like even I think the furthest he could go with meat is chicken if he wants to get down to 145, and it's gonna be a lot of salad. I'll tell you that because there's no he's huge. He's huge. He looks like he's walking around like 180. Like that's fucking crazy for him to get down to 145 right now. Number two, if he goes down to 145, he's going to go back to knocking dudes the fuck out. I'm telling you that right now. It's going to happen again. The reason he can't knock you guys out at 155 as well is because they're thicker, number one. They have a little bit more weight behind them, and they can take those shots. I know he fucked up Eddie Alvarez, but after that, let's be real. He couldn't really hurt anybody besides Cerrone. And Cerrone's smaller, dude. I mean, he's not as huge as some of these other guys. And he's old. I'll put everybody that way. He's old when Conor whooped his ass. Let's be real. That's not young Cerrone. But I think if he goes down to 145, he probably has a shot at the belt. And I'd say that right now because I think that he can bang with Volkanovski. I think that he can keep Volkanovski off his ass when it comes to the grappling because he's an underrated grappler. Tell you right now. The mistake he made with Khabib was when he was stepping. Basically, there's an octagon inside the octagon. When he ventured out to the outside of that, that's when Khabib was landing that shit big time. When they were in the middle and Conor was pressing, he sprawled pretty well. He actually did decent. I haven't seen anybody do that good, to be honest. That's why he made it to round 4.
He had the most takedown. Real quick, Conor McGregor had the most takedown defenses against Khabib out of any other fighter ever.
So therefore, he can keep Volkanovski off his ass. And if you let Conor McGregor touch you at 145, dude, you're nah. He's gonna fuck you up. First of all, he has way more length than Volkanovski. And he's gonna knock out Max Holloway again. People to think he won't. Max Holloway is gonna stand right in front of him, and Conor is going to lay some shit on him. That's like he's gonna be Mike Tyson in the featherweight division. That's what people don't get. These guys are smaller. Max Holloway is not big. He's a pretty thin set guy. He's long, and Conor is going to hit him with bombs. And it's not going to be like, Rodriguez, where they're just athletic and they're fast. But I'm telling you right now that dude hits like fucking Mike Tyson. He knocked down Nate Diaz. He's knocked down plenty of guys that had chins. He just didn't win. He even fucked up Dustin Poirier a little bit, dude. The diamond kind of backed up when he got hit. He was like, oh, shit. He's like, let me get away from this cat. I'm like, I got to kind of set back up. But literally, Conor will fuck the featherweight division up. And I agree with you. He should have stayed there. He should have beat Eddie Alvarez, got that belt, the double champ, and he should have took his ass right back down because he went and fought Khabib. I was like, Khabib walks around at 200 pounds, G. Like, that dude's huge. I'm serious. That dude is way bigger than people think. So, therefore, if Conor goes to 145, he is fucking that division up, and I think he probably could be a UFC champ again.
Yeah, I think he should do it. I honestly do. He's got to recover from this leg injury already. Take a year. Take another year from now. Lose the weight. Get in shape for 145 and dominate the division. Get back to being the Conor we know. Now, I don't know about dominate because of what we've seen from him recently. That being said, he did stand up before the leg snapped in half. He stood up after getting pummeled in the face and fucking just started throwing. That's what people keep forgetting about that fight. Before he broke his leg, yes, he was losing that round badly, but he got up and he was throwing with power still. Power. So that being said, I don't think Conor belongs up there. I never said he did. I never thought he did. I do like him at 170. I don't think he can actually beat any real guys at 170. But I like him. I like him being a show fighter at 170, if that makes sense. Somebody who doesn't really need to worry about a weight cut and just does fun fights. If he really wants to contend again, if he really wants to be champ again, he should step back down and go take a year, lose some weight, get back down to featherweight, and just run through these guys. Let's do it. Fucking let's run it. Schedule the Max Holloway fight for Volkanovski. Connor loses the weight, gets back into the featherweight division, and fights the winner of that fight.
If if you really want to
I'm
make it
down.
if you really want to make it interesting, make his first fight at 145 for Brian Ortega.
Just a real quick shout out to Metzger. What's up, man? Welcome to the stream. We love it. We love our Unwrapped Sports Network crew. Metzger is a proud member of that. I've done some shows with him before. Just a quick shout out to him. But yeah, man. I mean, this is just because we don't have a real card to talk about, really. This is really interesting to me. Is Connor going back down? Because I understand it would be really, really fucking hard for him to do. I get it. But if he took the one thing that people don't give Conor McGregor enough credit for is the amount of work he does. The guy is a workhorse. He's never, no matter, I know he posts all these videos of him in crazy places. What you don't understand about him is he's working out. He never, those yachts, there's a gym in that yacht.
I don't. The thing I don't get about Connor is how the fuck does he not have more cardio? I don't get it. The way he trains.
It's because he does it. He puts power behind every punch. That's why. He does. He throws power behind everything. Even his jabs. He's throwing everything into every punch he does. He's trying to get that knockout. Because young Connor, I'm not saying he ever had good cardio, because he didn't. He never had great cardio. But young Connor in the featherweight division could look like he could go forever. Granted, he didn't really have to ever, but it looked like he could.
Young Connor, I'm gonna tell him, before he was rich, young Connor was a fucking savage. I'm gonna say that right. That dude was.
I think that's the one thing that's gonna hold him back from going to the featherweight division ever again. His money. He's worth more than $500 million. Why the fuck would he put all that work into getting down to that low of a weight?
He might though. If he says he's gonna do it, he's probably gonna do it. Like
I hope he does. Now it's funny because he wasn't being called out for a while. Now he's being called out left and right again by everybody, and it's fucking annoying. Have you noticed that?
Michael Chandler, dude, this is a bad fight for Connor. Do not take that fucking Michael Chandler fight. Don't do it. I'm so serious. You are going to get beat up. Like, Michael Chandler is going to put some pressure on you, dude. He can take a shot, and that dude is durable. He will get you past the second round. I'm going to say that right now.
Yes, he will. The only fight that I would really be interested in seeing him at in the lightweight division is Justin Gaethje and Justin Gaethje. That's about it. I have no interest in watching him fight any of those other guys. I don't want to see him fight Tony Ferguson. I don't care about him fighting Dan Hooker. It's not a big enough name for him. Beneil Dariush does nothing for me. Conor McGregor versus Beneil Dariush fight does nothing for me. Michael Chandler.
Dariush is being overlooked so bad.
Yeah. I mean, Islam should fight him. Let's talk about that. We're doing a little bit of, hey everybody, we're doing a little bit of a freestyle show tonight because again, the card's not very good. We're going to talk about the main event for a good amount of time because it is good. But other than that, the card kind of sucks. So we're just going to freestyle it out and just talk about bullshit for a while. But Islam and Beneil Dariush does interest the fuck out of me. What about you? Do you think that fight should happen, or do you think Islam should get an instant, fight Justin Gaethje who should fight for the belt?
Here's the thing about I want this fight for Dariush because he deserves it. I think if he beats Islam, I think he needs a shot because he's top 4. That dude is talented, man, and he's on a winning streak. And dude, there's no reason he shouldn't. The only reason he's not getting a shot is because he's failing to do what every fighter needs to do, and it's self-market. He won't do it. He won't talk, and it's dumb. I don't know why he won't do it, but he needs to do it. He's a talented guy. But he's kind of old school, man. He's humble. Like, he doesn't want to fucking talk shit. But he should, because if he does it, He's going to keep getting stepped over. I'm going to say that right now. He's going to keep getting stepped over. But Dariush against Islam is a good fight because Dariush is good on the ground, and he's not going to get bullied by Islam. Dan Hooker had no business being in there, dude. Like a 2-month turnaround, dude. Are you serious? Like, why would you fight a guy like Islam in 2 months?
The fucking hottest name in the UFC right now.
And what I told you the not the last week, but the show we did previously, he did that shit for money. I don't know if you agree now, but I think he did.
I kind of agree with that. We'll talk about that later.
But when it comes to Islam, actually, Dariush is the correct fight. If we want to say fundamentally, Dariush is the correct fight. The fight I want to see, that I would die to see, would be him and Justin Gaethje, because Gaethje been talking some mad shit. And dude, you know what Islam is? He's Khabib Jr. And I'm just like, dude, he's a better striker too. He's a way better striker. And I'm like, dude, if you want to fight, if you want to talk shit, tell him to get in line, this, and that, and the fifth, why don't you get in that fucking cage, man? Because that kid is tough.
That's my issue with Gaethje. He talks all this shit about certain fighters, but never wants to fight them. I honestly believe that if if Charles Olivier beats Dustin Poirier, I don't think Justin's gonna fight him. I don't. I think Justin's terrified of that. I don't think, because Justin's wrestling is not as good as advertised. I'm sorry, it's just not. We haven't seen it. We won't see it because it's not as good as everybody said it was when he was coming into the UFC.
He was good. He was good at fundamental wrestling. What fundamental wrestling is like college and high school, shit like that.
Right, and he knows for a fact if he goes up against a guy that's one of the greatest Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu artists we've ever seen in MMA, he's gonna get fucked up. He's got those short little arms. Like, he's just like, it's just not a good matchup for him, because if they do stand, Olivier Dubrance's striking has gotten better and better and better and better and better. He's learned to use his length. And Justin has those short, he's got power, don't get me wrong, but he's got those short little arms for that division. Like, he does have shorter arms. And Dubrance will just do whatever he wants to with Justin, is my opinion.
The problem with Justin is there's only one fighter I know that you know what you're going to get, and you still can't stop it in his prime. And it was Anderson Silva. He was going to do the same shit that he did to everybody else, and you couldn't do a fucking thing. Justin Gaethje is not as good of a striker as Anderson Silva. It's not even close. The problem with striking is when people fight him, here's the science of being punched. When they expect you to brawl with them, they're expecting to get hit. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're bracing for it. They know it's coming. Charles Oliveira, the reason he knocked out, he beat the shit out of Chandler that when he hit him, was because Chandler's not expecting Dubrance to crack
the most beautiful left hook I've seen in years.
And literally, like when Khabib knocked down McGregor did not expect that overhand. That overhand was nasty too, but he didn't expect
out of nowhere.
So therefore, when you fight a guy like Oliveira, you're not expecting like overwhelming power, and then he hits you with this fucking crazy good shot, and you're just like, what the hell just happened to me? Like, he's not supposed to hit like that. Justin Gaethje, hits like that. So literally, you're bracing for it, you're getting ready, you're aware. And he does the same shit. He's going to kick that leg. He's going to try to beat up your calf. And he's going to strike you the whole fight. He's not going to do shit else. He's not going to try to take you down. He even, first of all, I'm a fan of mixed martial arts, dude. I'm okay with guys mixing it up. Justin Gaethje calls you a fucking bum or like a little girl if you go for legs. Dude, that's a part of the sport. There's nothing wrong with takedown.
Right, it's nonsense. Just because he's the best Brazilian, like you can't talk shit because he does a different form of MMA. It doesn't make any sense. That's what's pissed me off about Connor. Not to talk about, but recently that's what he's been doing. But anyway, we should move on because we do have some more headlines. But yes, I agree with you. Islam versus Dariush should happen. It's the fight to happen. It's not the big money fight, but it should absolutely happen. And if Islam beats Dariush, oh my God, watch out. Watch out. Because the guy's a beast.
He should get a title fight if he beats Dariush. I'll give him that.
Yes.
If he beats Dariush, try to give him a title fight.
Yes. All right, moving on. We got an exciting fight announcement. It's not official, but it's one of those unofficial official things in the UFC where they came out. There's already a fight poster, but it's not. The paperwork's not done. But we got Thiago Santos fighting against Magomed Ankalaev. And this fight only has me really excited, Dustin, because Magomed is fighting again. That's all I really care about. I love Thiago Santos. Everybody knows that's seen this stream that my support for him. The way he fought John Jones and the way he battled back and came back early and fought Glover Teixeira, I just give him all the credit in the world. The guy's an absolute monster. He's got heart for days. But Magomed is a different animal, and Magomed is him and one other fighter of the future of this division. I'm just more excited, Dustin, because the light heavyweight division is coming back. There are young guys coming in like Magomed, like Yuri. There are more and more of those guys coming up. We need more light heavyweights. Don't get me wrong. But there are two guys that will battle. I do think Yuri and Magomed will have absolute wars for the title. And I can't wait for it. What do you think about this? I'm not even really concerned about it. I think he kind of destroys Thiago just because stylistically it's not very good for Thiago, who's a pure striker. So I don't think it ends well for him because Magomed's just so much better. What do you think?
Thiago Santos, dude, he's had his run. You know what I'm saying? He's had it. I don't think he's going to go on a big one. I don't think he's ever really going to get to the helm of fighting for gold. I don't think that's really going to happen. I think he'll get beat once he gets up there. But like you said, Magomed, yeah, that's not a good fight for him, bro. It's almost like Khabib versus Conor. It's not a good fight. It's not saying Magomed's Khabib. Don't trip. He's not. But he's definitely stylistically bad for him. Very bad. So therefore, we'll see. If this fight happens, I think Thiago puts up a better fight than people think. But Magomed, yeah, I'll probably give him the dub. I probably agree with that. I don't know. Thiago Santos might lay some shit on him. I have no clue. But
that's my biggest thing with that is that I think Thiago Santos is still recovering. I mean, that kind of injury that he had where he tore literally every tendon in his knee, that says it. Even though you're fully recovered, that still takes years to get that power back.
First of all,
you may never get that power back. I think that's what we're seeing with Thiago. I don't think he ever gets the power back.
First of all, you don't ever recover from that injury. I'm gonna say right now, if you tear an ACL, if you tear major ligaments in your knee, no. Like, dude, you might be able to run, you might be able to, fight on it. But if someone kicks it hard enough, it's a problem. When you have major surgery on a limb, it's a problem. Like, it's a problem.
And it's also just, he can't plant on that leg like he used to. He's hesitant to plant on it like he used to. And still, with that being said, he knocked down Glover, fucking Ironhead Glover, 3 times. He knocked him down. That's just insane. It's insane to me. And I do think he lost some of his power. I don't think he's the same fighter he used to be. unfortunately, he got a severe injury in his prime. It happens. It's the fight game. But that being said, I don't think he was ever good enough to beat Magomed.
Thiago, the problem with that injury is I think if he wants to get back that power, he has to learn how to be bouncy. You know what I'm saying? He has to learn how to be kind of bouncy and explosive because the boxer stance isn't going to work because you have to have your legs under you. So if he wants to have that power again, he's probably going to have to learn how to get a little bit bouncy, light on his feet, and know how to send. Literally, he's got to learn how to send punches that are coming. The power is coming from the rotation and not the plant. He can't sit down on them like he used to. So
Yeah.
he has to learn how to use his body to pretty much knock people out. Put it that way.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So neither of us really think that Santos' best hope is that he regains some of that power and he changes his fight style, which is probably not going to happen. So Magomed is probably going to dominate that fight like he has every fight he's had since being in the UFC. Real quick, couple more shout outs. We got Unwrapped Sports Network, who we are proud members of, chiming in. And we also have Crazy Madness. What's up, guys? Love your work. Love everything you do. Now we're moving on. We have good old Aljamain Sterling. Won't shut up.
Do I have to talk about this dude again?
Won't leave him alone.
I have to talk about him.
Just won't be what he's supposed to be. I'm going to let you talk about it because I think you have a lot less to say than I do on this conversation. I have a lot.
First of all, his first thing was talking about Jan being ranked above him. He's ranked above you because he whooped your ass. The only reason that you even have a belt is because he was an idiot. I don't know what he was thinking. No clue. No clue when he kneed him because he was obviously floored. There was no reason to knee him. I don't get it. Still today, I'm trying to conjure up the excuse of why he kneed him in his face.
It was his corner. His corner was yelling for it, and he's a good fighter, and he listens to his corner, and he did it.
I don't care. If you know it's illegal, don't do it. That don't make no sense. Hey, gouge his eyes out. You don't do it. You know what I'm saying, dude? You don't do it. So therefore, I get it. Maybe he was listening to his corner. Well, his corner is retarded because excuse my language, but they're kind of stupid telling their fighter to lose. That doesn't make any fucking logical sense. And his corner lost him some shit. He should have went home with the strap easily. And we wouldn't have to deal with this bullshit. So I blame his corner. I got to listen to this shit. So he got mad that they put a ruby in his belt. Dog. There should be a ruby in his belt. I don't know what to tell you. So therefore, I don't know. Dude, just fight. Just fucking fight. I don't understand why he sits here and just goes off his Twitter fingers and all that bullshit, talking shit about ESPN. Aljo, you're not good enough to talk shit about ESPN. I'm gonna tell you that right now. You don't have the clout. You don't even, dude. No. He's an idiot, and I'm ready for him to fight Peter Yan and get his shit beat up. He's gonna get beat up again, and I'm very ready for it. So I'm gonna just leave it at that because Aljo, he's just an idiot, man. I don't know what to say.
All right, I am once again about Aljamain Sterling throwing this up. I am so sick and tired of seeing this man's face populate my Twitter, populate my Facebook, populate my Instagram about him talking shit on different people, saying different things, saying he doesn't have to fight Peter Yan, that the ESPN is hurting him, that there's no, why would you rank him? I'm the true champ. Why would you rank him above me? First of all, dude, the UFC doesn't rank you above him in their pound for pound. The UFC does not rank you above him. Not ESPN, the UFC. I want to get that. I want everybody to realize what I'm saying here. The promotion that he fights for, that he's a quote unquote champ of does not rank him above Piotr Jan because everybody, this is how transparently bullshit you are, Aljo. That your own fighter promotion that you are champ of does not consider you a better fighter than the number one contender. So right now you can fuck off with that and all that other nonsense that you're talking. And let alone you don't have to fight Piotr Jan, who just put on that Corey Sandhagen fight is fight of the year. It's going to the Hall of Fame. I think it is. No one's fight Piotr Jan that well. It's never happened. And it will probably never happen again because Piotr Jan, when he fights Corey Sandhagen again for the real belt, which he will shortly, it won't be that close because one thing Piotr Jan is smarter than everybody else in the division, maybe in the UFC. He is not just better than most of the people than everybody in the division. He is smarter than everybody in the division.
Alex,
So
quick, I'm gonna help your rant. Why the fuck hasn't Dana stripped him? That doesn't make any sense.
that's what I was just gonna say. And then you get this undisclosed neck injury that's been bothering you for years, leading into your championship defense against the guy that whooped your ass. You decide to opt in for an optional surgery that your own doctors told you didn't need so that you couldn't fight. The whole thing is nonsense. The UFC should strip this man of his belt, give it to Piotr Jan, strip this man of his belt. This is fucking stupid. I'm sick and tired of it. I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say something that might get us in trouble with diehard UFC fans, but I'm going to do it. Aljamain Sterling is not better than Piotr Jan. We all know that. The UFC knows that. ESPN knows that. He's not better than TJ Dillashaw. He's not better than Corey Sandhagen, and he's slightly better than Rob Font. I'm just going to go out there and say that. Aljamain Sterling.
I actually have a new topic for us. We'll fit it in. Francis Ngannou and how he ignored him at the fight when they both showed up.
We can talk about that briefly. I'm wrapping up my rant. I just think this is absolutely disgusting and dumb. And guys like Aljo are what's wrong with the sport. Or, I mean, not what's wrong with the sport, but guys like Aljo don't belong. They just don't belong. You're in the fight game, dude. You fight who you're supposed to fight, and you don't get to decide when you win by default. That's just how it works. It's how it's always worked. It's how it's always going to work. And I suspect that in short time, if he does not accept the Piotr Jan fight, he will be stripped. Dana will have a choice. So yeah, we can move on to that. We can talk about it quickly because of whether we want to talk about it or not. We do have a main event a main card to talk about. Really to run through.
Let's talk about the main event, and then we'll roll on. We'll do that.
All right, so we have the Vegas fight card, where honestly, guys, it is not very good. This is one I'm going to say, and I hate doing this because I love UFC and I love fights and I love watching them. I'm watching the co-main and the main. I don't care about anything else. People are talking about the Yanez versus David Grant fight. I don't give a shit about it. Yanez is so much better than David Grant. I just don't care.
Why did they make that fight? That doesn't make any fucking sense. Why is Yanez fighting that dude? He just came off a loss. That doesn't even make sense. I don't know, man.
It doesn't make sense. He's coming off a loss to Chito Vera, who I guess is considered good. Maybe it's a prop fight for Yanez, but it's still stupid, and I hate it. And I
bro, do you know there's a fight on that card that those guys have been in the UFC for 10 years, and I still barely knew their name. That's fucking horrible. How are you in the UFC for 10 years and you ain't getting nowhere? I was like, how are you still on the roster? I was like, what the fuck is going on there, dude? I was like, what is going on?
Now we will get to see Talia Santos again, which is exciting because she's a super exciting fighter in the women's. What is she again? I'm sorry. In the women's flyweight division, she is exciting. She's coming off a huge victory off of Roxanne Mata. I
It's
can't say. I can
Matafari.
never.
It's Matafari.
Matafari. Thank you. I can never say it by myself. Roxanne Matafari, where most of us picked Roxanne Matafari to win.
I
Talia
did.
Santos went in there and did her fucking business. So I'm excited to see her fight Joanne Wood. I think she gets the victory there. I'm sure Dustin agrees with me. And yes, we are running through this. Then we got Kyohang, Mr. Perfect himself, Kyung Ho, who's coming off a couple of victories. He's always a kind of a fun fighter to watch. Not really though. Um, Never really gonna be anything in the UFC, but he will put on a kickboxing masterpiece against Ronnie Ya, um, who I don't know much about. I can just tell you that right now, unfortunately. Um, and then we got Sean Brady. Sean Brady. I am excited for this fight. We got Sean Brady against Michael Chiesa. I want to talk about this for a second because Michael Chiesa is coming off a loss to Vicente Luque, who darts choked him.
Luke is a bro. Yeah.
Luque shocked the shit out of me in this fight. Michael Chiesa is a wrestler's wrestler. That's all he's going to do. And he draws Sean Brady. Sean Brady, who is putting on an absolute tear right now. I got Sean Brady in this fight. 28 years old, hasn't lost a pro fight in his career, is an absolute monster. Can wrestle with Chiesa, which is an issue for Chiesa. We got a ton of comments. Sorry, but he is an absolute nightmare of a matchup for Chiesa because he can wrestle, but he can also strike, which Chiesa is not known for. So I'm picking Sean Brady in this fight. I think he wins in unanimous decision. Real quick, Dustin, what do you think?
Well, I'm gonna start off something just a fun fact. Darce chokes are fucking awesome. I don't know if anybody. It's the most sneaky in one of the most. It's weirdly one of the easiest submissions to sneak in. Darce chokes are fucking great. Like literally, they're
They
just
are great.
I love watching.
They are great
because you don't even know it's coming. Sometimes they just shove that arm under your arm, wrap it around your neck, grab a grip, and just start squeezing and just literally just putting you. It's beautiful. Darce choke is so simple, but it's just beautiful. Anyway, yeah, this is a grappler's match. When I first saw this fight, I almost wanted to say Chiesa might have the advantage in grappling. Might. But the thing I'm not confident with Chiesa is the advantage in jiu-jitsu. Because Brady is a submission guy. He likes to grab a neck. He likes it. He likes grabbing it. I'm telling you, dude, if you're a submission guy and you like to grab necks, it's hard to stop you, dude. Because they will look for it at any position ever. And it's available almost at every guard. Half guard available. Full guard available.
And for guys
it's available.
And for guys like Chiesa who are a wrestler and just trying to pass position, a guy who can choke you, who can grab any limb and pull on it until you tap, is a nightmare matchup. It just is. Because Chiesa doesn't go for the submission. He goes for the points. He goes for the takedown to get the points by pass position. Incredibly hard to do, and he's absolutely incredible at it. Maybe one of the best we've ever seen at doing what he does. But a guy like Brady is a fucking nightmare for him.
Brady is a neck grabber, and I'm telling you right now, I'm explaining to people how many positions a dude can grab your neck, right? The back side mount, he can put in a bulldog choke. The half guard, he can put in a dart. It's called a bulldog.
Could you imagine if we saw a victory by bulldog choke? Like that's how they listed it.
he can put in guillotines in a sprawl position. He can put in a Japanese necktie, which is a variation of the darce. He can put in a rear naked, obviously, in back mount, or if he takes his back fully and gets in the body triangle. Dude, there's so many ways. Arm triangles is a neck choke, and that's easy to get, especially if you get the technique down. I'm telling you right now that, dude, Sean Brady is going to submit this dude. No, I think he's
I would love
absolutely.
it. I would love it because I hate Kenny's. I hate watching him fight. He's really good, but I hate watching him fight. He's the most boring fighter ever. All right, let's move on to the main event. So both of us think Brady's going to win. Um, we got good old Ketlin Vieira versus. Wait, is this right? Hold on. Yeah, Ketlin Vieira versus Misha Tate. Misha Tate is back. Coming off of a victory against Marion Renault, which was very, very impressive. Um, Dustin, I'm going to get your thoughts on this because you were excited in our pre-fight little pre-show meeting to talk about this. So let's get your thoughts. What do you think about this?
This is not a main event. I was excited in a bad way. This is not a main event. This looks like a premier fight on the undercard of a UFC pay-per-view. I'd give it that. First of all, the girl she's fighting is coming off a loss. Period. She beat Jessica I. I'll give her that. I mean, she beat a pretty good contender in Jessica I. But she lost her last fight, and now she's going to go up against a very, very, very decorated, experienced fighter, which makes no fucking sense. I don't get it. I think they're trying to warm up Misha Tate to go fight bigger fights, but dude, this is it. This is obvious. Like, it's not even funny. Like, it's not even a fighter who came off a win. And I'm sitting here and I'm looking at this fight, and I think Misha Tate's going to beat this girl's ass. Maybe that's what they want, which I think it is, so they can give her a hype train and her comeback a big thing. But this is a horrible matchup. If she wins this fight, I will not be surprised. And I will not be any more confident that she can make a run towards the title. This fight, to me, is just about useless, in my opinion. Like, I don't understand.
I think this fight's dumb too. It's not a main event. It's just not on a Vegas card, on anything. It's not a main event on an ABC card. This is not a main event. This is not a co-main. It's a main card fight on a Vegas.
It's an undercard premiere of like UFC 269.
No, I'm talking about a Vegas fight night. It's fine if it's on the card for a Vegas fight. But honestly, my biggest issue with this is Misha Tate. Okay, you're gearing up this big comeback for her, and I don't really know why. The women's fight divisions are the best they've been in UFC history. They're good right now.
Misha Tate's a big name, though.
She is a big name, but she's not beating Holly Holm. She's not beating Jermaine Redmine. She's not beating Amanda Nunes. She's not she doesn't even.
To be fair, she can beat Holly Holm. To be fair, I think
maybe. but I mean, this is for me. This is Dana White avoiding the inevitable fight that we all want to see. This is why this pisses me off. Because he's getting Misha Tate some easy victories to match her up against Amanda Nunes for Amanda Nunes just to fucking whoop her ass.
If she goes straight to Amanda Nunes is gonna kill her, dude. She better
kill her. I'm sick of it, Dustin, and I'm slamming my hand down because I'm sick of it. Schedule the Nunes versus Shevchenko fight. Schedule it. Don't know what we're waiting for.
That's the best fight right now in UFC. That is.
I don't get it. It is that is a main card on a top liner, on a top line event,
on a pay-per-view. That is a pay-per-view main event.
Absolutely. Correct. That is an absolute great fight, and I don't know why Dana's avoiding it, but he clearly is. Shevchenko and Nunes have both said they're down. I don't understand it. It pisses me off. Amanda Nunes is the greatest women's fighter ever. She's one of the greatest MMA. She's one of the greatest mixed martial artists of all time. Men, women, doesn't.
I gave one fighter a chance against her, and I believe it was Megan Anderson. The only reason I gave her a shot was because her length, and she was a really good boxer. But at the same time, Amanda Nunes just fucking mauled her. I don't know what it is. Bro,
She's just
I don't know what it is.
she is on the Mount Rushmore of my MMA athletes. She just is. She's an absolute monster. She
And the,
deserves to be up there.
and the way
She's one
she
of
beat
the
the shit out of Ronda Rousey. I love you. I love you. If you're
not
listening
just
right
that.
now,
Look at the Cyborg fight. That was supposed to be Cyborg's way to beat Amanda Nunes, and nope. Amanda
Cyborg,
Nunes said
Cyborg,
nope.
Cyborg, in my opinion, is one of the most overrated women fighters.
I agree. I agree. But that being said, it's absolutely insane that this is happening. I don't get it. We're gonna actually move on and talk about something else real quick. The one thing I do want to mention is Matt asked me a question in the comments, and I'm just gonna talk about this real quick. Do your Eagles make the playoffs? You got the Saints, Giants twice, Jets, Washington twice. I know this is a fight stream. Matt, no, they do not make the playoffs. That's all I got to say. So, Dustin, you brought up a good thing to talk about, and we'll close out the show real quick with this. So, why don't you explain to the audience what happened a little bit?
So at the big pay-per-view we just saw, the one that was very recent, Cyril Gain was actually in the building with his coach. And obviously, if you don't know, the audience doesn't know, Cyril Gain was from the same fight, was basically from the same gym as Nagano when he started. Now, to give you some background information, this trainer took him in, fed him, literally fed him, and basically gave him gave him a real shot at having a life. In my opinion, he was a legal immigrant and he had nowhere to go. And this guy literally took him in and just took care of him. And Nagano didn't want to pay him dues for the gym. Just didn't want to pay him dues. Didn't want to pay him for the fight. Didn't want to pay him, and he just walked out on it. So they're at the UFC event, and Nagano obviously knows who Cyril Gain is. Let's not fake that shit.
He's fighting him.
And he literally, his old coach that took care of him, by the way, they took him in basically. He didn't even acknowledge him. He walked right past him and basically acted like they were not even there. And even Cyril Gain was looking at Nagano like, hey, dude, I know we're fighting, but you don't have to do that, bro. Like, that was kind of disrespectful. He just walked past me, didn't say shit. He looked at him, too. I saw that little side eye he did. He knew they were there. He said nothing. Literally just walked past his old coach, walked past Cyril Gain. This is the first time I've ever wanted Nagano to get his shit rocked. Like, I am not a fan of him in this fight. I hope Cyril Gain does his ass dirty. Like, I hope Cyril Gain fucks this dude up. Like, I've never wanted Gain to win so bad. Like, I really hope he snatches that belt in dominant fashion. I hope he fucking knocks him down. Now, Francis Ngannou has got Superman power, dude. He's like Thor. I swear, if that dude touches you, it's probably going to be a bad day. So if Cyril Gain gets caught, it's probably going to be a bad thing for him. But he's a really experienced striker, really experienced striker, very good fighter. Just based on the background, I hope Gain beats the shit out of Nagano, in my opinion.
Yeah, I saw this too. It was extremely weird. This is just, Francis Ngannou, I had a lot of respect for you for standing up to Dana. I really did. But that has turned into this like ultra fake tough guy persona when you're already a tough guy, where you're like trying to embrace it and try to be a villain when you're a tough guy, but Francis Ngannou's not a villain. He's a tough guy. He always has been. He doesn't talk a lot of shit. He doesn't do it. He just beats the shit out of you. But this is just him trying to be that villain of the UFC for some reason. I like it because it's creating tension. It will boost the story of the leading up into the fight that's probably going to happen in the first major fight card in January. Oh yeah, it is. You're right. It is. So it is happening January 22nd. So it's the second major fight card of January. I can't wait for this fight. I am starting to lean towards Cyril Gane. I think Francis Ngannou has never, ever, ever, ever fought a guy like Gane. Never. Never, ever. A high level kickboxer like that. Now, he did beat Alistair Overeem, but let's be honest, Alistair Overeem's kickboxing hasn't been the same since he stopped being a kickboxer and entered the UFC.
Overeem's old.
Right, that's what I'm getting at. So, but no one in the UFC, the reason Gane has been able to get to such heights so quickly, no one's ever seen anything like him. There has never been. He fights like a light heavyweight with heavyweight weight. He is quick. He is fast. He hits hard, and he counters and he sets up punches. Heavyweights are known in the UFC and have been known for swinging. That's what they do. They swing. I think Cyril Gane wins this fight. I really do. I think Ngannou. I don't think he'll be able to handle the barrage of combinations he didn't see. If you want to say Stipe could do it, fine, but not with the speed of Gane. He could put together boxing combos because Stipe can box, but not at that speed and not at that rate. It is going to shock Francis Ngannou, and this is going to be one of the rare times where Ngannou's reach is not a factor. It's not a factor. It's not going to play into it at all.
I'm going to tell you right now, nobody in the heavyweight division is at Gane's level when it comes to striking. Not one of them.
No one. No one. Very few people in the entire UFC are at Gane's level of striking. This guy is an absolute master kickboxer. So I think he will end up winning this fight. I don't think he's going to knock out Ngannou because that's proven to be very difficult to do. But I do think he'll last all 5. I think he has more cardio than Ngannou, and I think he has the speed, and there is no reach advantage that Ngannou's used to.
You know, one thing I'll give Gane, I did not think he was that big, dude. I saw him at that
huge.
He looks like, dude, he's about as big as Francis, dude. Like, I looked at him. I looked at him, dude. If I saw him in person, I guarantee that dude looks like the fucking Hulk. That dude looked huge.
They're the same exact size.
I didn't think he was that big. I'm like, literally, I'm going to be guilty.
But you gotta remember, last time we saw him was against 6'7" Volkov. So he did look tiny in that fight. Anyway, guys, we are wrapped up. We are gonna go ahead and end the stream. It was a great conversation, great freestyle show, Dustin. I had a lot of fun today. Guys, please make sure you follow Fights Unwrapped. Please follow Unwrapped Sports Network. And happy fight week, even though it's not a very good one. Happy fight week. I hope you enjoy the weekend. Thanks, Dustin. I'll talk to you later.